Hello and welcome to this video tutorial of OpenCart Akeneo connector. And using this extension, you'll be able to connect your OpenCart web store with the Akeneo PIM platform. And how this integration helps? Well, using this integration, you can export products, categories, attributes, including their values, attribute groups, and product images from Akeneo to the OpenCart web store. So in today's video tutorial, what we'll be doing is we'll be showing you how we can configure the OpenCart connector configuration within the Akeneo backend. So what I'll be doing is I'll be navigating to the Akeneo backend first, and after that I'll be showing you how we can configure the OpenCart connector within the Akeneo backend. So here I am at the Akeneo right now at the login interface of the Akeneo. And now I'll just click on the login button to log into my Akeneo backend. And after we have logged in, on the left hand side panel on the bottom end, you can see the OpenCart connectors there. So what we need to do is we just need to click that up, and this brings up the OpenCart connector configuration. And here we'll be able to configure the OpenCart connector. And here we have a number of tabs. The very first that we have is the server credentials. After that we have the default configuration. Then we have the locale mapping. And lastly, we have the product field mapping. So what we'll do is we'll go through each of them one by one, and let's see what different options are there for configuring the OpenCart connector. So the very first one is the server credentials. And here what you need to do is you need to enter the URL of your OpenCart web store. So you need to enter that up under the server URL option. After that we have the API key option. So let me tell you how you can get the API key. For that you need to log into your OpenCart web store backend. So let me take you to that section first. So I've just logged into my OpenCart web store, and now to get the API key for the Akeneo backend, wherein we have the OpenCart connector configuration that we were just showing you up. So for that we will be navigating through system, and then we'll go to users, and under users we have the API menu option. Just click that up. And this brings up this section with a list of APIs that we have already created. So if you want to create a new API key, you can click on the add new button on the top right hand corner. And that brings up this section to generate the API key. So what you can do is you can set up the API name first. And you can also enter the API key by your own self. By typing it in. Otherwise, if you want to generate an automatic API key, then you just need to hit the generate button, and that will bring up this API key for use in the Akeneo backend for the OpenCart connector configuration under the server credential details section. And here you can set the status for this particular API is enabled or disabled. So for now we'll just set it up as enabled, and we'll just copy this API key. We'll hit the save button. So our test Akeneo, I've just created this API, and let me take you back to the OpenCart Akeneo section there. So under the server credentials we have the API key. Here we'll just paste this API key once again, and we are done for the server credentials section. After this section we have the default configuration section. So under this section we will be able to select the default language and the default currency for our OpenCart web store. And here we can also select the product identifier as well. So the first option that we have is the default locale. So you need to select the default language for your OpenCart web store. After that we have the default currency. Select the default currency that would be there for your store. And lastly, you just need to mention where the Akeneo product SKU will be mapped in the OpenCart. And for that we have a number of options there. So you can select any of these. So for the open cart one, we'll be selecting the SKU for the product identifier. Now after this we have the locale mapping, and in the local mapping section you will need to map the Akeneo locale with the open cart locale ID, so that you'll be able to send content in multiple languages to your open cart web store. So what we'll do is we can add a locale as well, and we can then map the Akeneo locale on the left hand side with the open cart locale ID in the open cart. So that was about the map locale section. Here you just need to select the Akeneo locale first, and you can also add multiple locales as well. And after setting them up, you just need to map the open cart locale ID with the Akeneo locale ID, and then you can save changes as well. So this was about the map locale section. We just updated it, and let's get back to the open cart configuration section once again. And lastly we have the product field mapping section, and under this section you can mention the detailed information about your products by creating the attributes in Akeneo and mapping them with the open cart product fields. And by default the following product fields can be mapped, that are the product name, description, meta information that has the tag title, tag description, and the tag keywords. Apart from that, we can also map the product tags, the model, the SKU, UPC, EAN, and the others, the price, quantity, and the minimum quantity. And apart from that, we can also map the SEO URL, weight, product images, and the store IDs as well. So here we have a complete list for that, as you can see. So on the left hand side we have the open cart fields, and on the right hand side we have the Akeneo fields. So what you need to do is you need to map the open cart fields with the Akeneo fields. So for the open cart fields you can set up the Akeneo fields accordingly, and then you can just save the configuration there. And one more thing is there that if you want to avoid duplication of attributes, attribute groups, and categories, or the category creation in open cart, then you must map the Akeneo before running an export job. And for that you can just hit this map attribute category button, and that brings up this section wherein we can create the mapping between the Akeneo and the open cart entity IDs and their names and the rest of the sections as well. So you can hit the create mapping button, and here under the create mapping button what we can basically map the types of mapping that we can do is we can map the category, the attribute, or the attribute groups. So for example, if you're selecting the category here, then we can map the Akeneo category with the open cart category. So what you can do, you can just click on the drop down option here, and after that you can select the particular category from the Akeneo catalog, or you can directly type in or search for the category that's within the Akeneo that you want to map with the open cart category there. And after that you have the open cart category option, wherein you'll select the particular category with which you want to map the actual Akeneo category. So here you can also click on the drop down option, and that would bring up this section where you will find all the categories being listed for the open cart web store. You can also search for that particular category that you're going to map, and lastly you can hit the save button to save the category mapping. You can also map the attribute, and similarly you'll have to select the Akeneo attribute that you want to map with the open cart attribute, and then you can hit the save button. And lastly, the third type of mapping that is available here is the attribute group mapping. So you can select the attribute group, and then similarly you can select the Akinio attribute group from the drop down, and select the relative one for the OpenCart, and hit the save button to save that particular mapping. So that was about how to create the mapping for the categories, attributes, and the attribute groups. And let me take you back to the OpenCart connector settings there in the backend. Alright, so let me give you an example for this one. That's the map more field. So what I'll do is I'll just type in something that's within the OpenCart web store, and I need to map this particular field with the Akinio fields, with the Akinio field that we have within the Akinio. So I'll just type in and I'll hit the add field button, and you can see that this tags class has been added. And on the right hand side we have the Akinio fields that we need to map, and on the left hand side we have the respective OpenCart fields. So on the right hand side, what I'll do is I'll just set up the text class, so I can set it up as anything in lower cases or upper cases or whatever that's feasible with your own respective self. So I'll set it as text class, and we can hit the save button to save this particular configuration, and you can see that now this particular what we can say is that additional OpenCart field code has been added, and we have mapped this particular OpenCart field code with the Akinio fields. So that was much about the configuration of the OpenCart connector within the Akinio backend, and hope it helped you out. And if you have any questions or queries regarding this extension, then you can always get back to us at support@webkul.com, or you can raise a ticket at webkul.uvidesk.com. And thanks for watching this video.